Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Joy Madison. I'm the Downers Grove Business Librarian here. We're very happy to have the People's Resource Center here today with us. We have Charles Hold, Paul Lewis, and Lisa Kirk here, who are going to be talking about managing stress on your job search. Paul Lewis is the Program Director for Job Assistance, and we're very happy. We've worked with you guys, PRC, you guys have been awesome, especially during the pandemic. I mean, this is my first one posting for you guys, but talking with my colleague, Karen Benerick, who's our normal program director, she's out this week. I have to say, we've only heard amazing things about this partnership as we worked with you guys the past 3 years. Without further ado, I will go ahead and mute myself and you guys can take it away.
Great. Thanks so much, Joy. Really appreciate it. Welcome, everybody, to today's workshop. As Joy said, my name is Polis. I'm the Program Director for Job Assistance at the People's Resource Center. So I always like to start off these presentations by just going over a few things just to make this a better experience for you. So first and foremost, we ask that you mute your microphone when we're talking. It just helps us avoid any background noise and helps keep us kind of focused on the presentation. So and we have the ability, like if you forget to hear some background noise, I can also mute you as well. So don't feel offended. Feel free to turn on your video. We'd love to see your face if you have the ability to do so. Just makes the presenters, if we can see the faces to the people presenting, it just makes it a little bit easier. We're used to doing it in person and like that human interaction. So if you're not comfortable or you don't have the ability to, that's okay too. We are recording this. We're going to put it on the video platform afterwards, so people that registered that aren't able to attend the live session are able to listen to it as well. But usually they can cut off, I think, the faces of the people. So if you do put your camera on, it probably won't have to go on to the actual video that people will be listening to afterwards. We should have about 5 people on today. So if you have any questions during the chat, you can just raise your hand or you can put it in the chat function. We can stop at any point during the presentation to answer any questions that you might have. We want this to be as interactive as possible. We don't want to just talk to you for an hour straight. We want this to be interactive and we want you to ask questions and feel like you're getting what you need to get out of this presentation. Side-by-side mode is sort of like the best way to view this. So if you go to view options at the top right-hand corner, click side-by-side mode, you'll be able to see the presentation as well as the face of the person who is presenting. And finally, obviously, as Joyce said, we really appreciate, being in partnership with the Downers Grove Public Library. It's been great, and we really look forward to continuing this in the future when we're able to come back and do these presentations in person. So, if you're unfamiliar with the People's Resource Center, I want to give you just a brief overview of some of the things that we do. Always like to point out that all of our services are free to clients in DuPage County, so you never have to pay for any of our services. If you are a client, we offer a variety of different types of basic and empowerment services. We have our food pantry, which is 4 times a week. We have brick and mortar locations in Wheaton and Westmont where our food pantries are located. Right now, it's a curbside pickup model, but as things are improving with the pandemic, we're going to start changing the way that the food pantry works and kind of resorting to, we'll probably do a hybrid of some sort permanently because the curbside pickup model actually worked really well. So just if you're interested, feel free to check our website and they'll always have the most up-to-date information on how the food pantry is working. We also have our social services program, which is, we are seeing some clients in person right now, but for the most part, all of our social services and empowerment services are still virtual. And again, as things change, we'll kind of reopen and open back up to the public and allow workshops and interactions to be done in person. So again, just check our website as it sort of updates weekly with sort of some of the changes that are going on. So we have our computer training and access program, our art studio, our adult learning and literacy programs. Those are all free to PRC clients. The computer training and access program is always say a really great supplement to our jobs program. It gives you the ability, like if you're looking for a job, it gives you the ability to take some computer training programs. And we have training programs that help you learn software and programs that a lot of employers use. So Microsoft Office, where I think they're working on like a Google Suite training program. So if you need to brush up your skills, we have a great actually Microsoft Office certification that's self-paced, which gives you the ability to learn Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, and then at the end you take a test and you get a certification, and it gives you, it's a great opportunity to put that on your resume. So, and it also shows professional development and growth. So I always like to point out the computer training program is a really great supplement to the job assistance program. If you're unfamiliar with our job assistance program, we offer a variety of different services to help you on your job search. I think our most popular services are one-to-one job coaching. We have some wonderful job coaches such as Charles and Lisa, who help clients in their job search in any way that you need it. So there's no like specific, like there's no like curriculum, or there's no type of, you have to do this, this, and this. We meet you where you're at. So if you need help searching for a job, if you just need help going over interview questions and how to answer them, if you just need help with your resume and cover letter, we're sort of like an a la carte service. We can help you with whatever you need, whether it's just something very simple, or if you just need like, you need to start from, square one and kind of work with us on everything. We can help you with whatever you need. So it's really great. We also have an online job board where I try to post job openings daily on our jobs board. I work with a lot of employers throughout DuPage County. They send me their open jobs, and then we post them on the job board. And then a lot of our clients can, come to us or their job coaches directly if they're interested in an opportunity. And then, I have, direct access to the HR people at those companies. So it's kind of a nice way to, sort of get like, I'd say like a leg up, as opposed to just applying on Indeed where everybody else applies. So this is kind of like a nice way to hopefully quickly, find opportunities that are available in DuPage County. We also have Connect's self-assessment skill tests. So these are different tests that you can take through a platform that we utilize to help you assess your skills and readiness for a particular job or industry that you're interested in. Again, this is something that if you take it and score high, you can put on your resume to show employers that you're highly skilled and have the necessary experience and qualifications to meet the demands of a particular job. Other than that, we offer a variety of different workshops, sort of like this one, throughout the month. And we're actually, trying to get ready to post those online. So there'll be, you can either attend a live workshop in person, or, a virtual workshop like this, either live or, at some point we'll have a list of workshops that you could listen to on demand, which is really exciting. So, without further ado, I wanted to introduce everybody to Charles and Lisa, and they're going to be talking to you today about managing stress during your job search.
All right, I'll jump in, and then Lisa will be taking over shortly. What's the goal here? Let's talk about what the goal is. If you read that little title, How to Manage Stress Beyond Your Job Search and Beyond. So the goal here is not to, it would be great if we could say eliminate all stress. And you may not want to eliminate all stress. We do need a certain amount of stress in our life. There's good stressors and not so good stressors, but our goal is to give you some techniques to minimize, to make these stresses as manageable as possible. And that's why we have the word manage in there. So we'll move on to the next slide and start right in. All right, I kind of jumped the gun, but that is an objective. The job search, I am a job coach and I hear it all the time. This is so stressful. I fill out a job application, I do an interview, and I get nothing. I don't hear anything back. And then I wake up in the middle of the night wondering, am I going to get this position or not? And this is, it's a big thing, because job search relates to your financial health. It relates to, certainly it can cause conflict in your family if you're financially stressed. So there's a lot of things that are really tied in here with the job search that affect stress. And another objective is learning self-care. And Lisa will be discussing that in great detail. And Also, you're going to be provided with ideas on self-care techniques and how to apply them to everyday life. But again, this is managing managing stress, and job stress is a big stressor that we will talk more about. Stress, ongoing stress can lead to distress. Funny that those words stress and de-stress are so close, isn't it? Just two little letters difference. But stress, stress is anything physical, mental, or emotional that it says can cause it or will cause bodily or mental tension. So stress, it can be, I think a lot of what we're going to discuss today is probably more external. We are not doctors and we're not here to diagnose ailments. So those are internal, but the external, it can be probably environmental, psychological, social situations. That's probably going to be the big thing here. A job search is affecting your life. It does affect your life, a job search. It does create stress. It can create worry, it can create a lot of things. And I would call that your social interactions with other people can be affected. So I'm just going to lump a job stress thing into social situations, and some things that can be caused. A little laundry list on the other side, you can kind of see. I'll just pick a few of them out. Elevated blood pressure, which is not good for any of us. Overeating, sleep disorders. If I don't sleep well, I know I don't operate well. So that's an important one. If I was interviewing for a job, one of the things we tell our job clients is make sure you get a good night's sleep the night before. Very, very important. You do your best when you get enough rest. A big one is depression. That's one maybe that a lot of our clients get into. Months go by and nothing happens. You get a little bit depressed. So depression is certainly a real thing. Panic attack, again, these are all real things. These are not just in your head. These are real things. Sense of isolation and I don't know, worry, inflammation in your body. I hear a lot nowadays about inflammation. I see commercials, that the inflammation can cause this, can cause that. Well, a lot of inflammation can be caused by stress. So that's kind of a little idea there of what stress can do. I don't see anything really good there that stress does. And again, we are not talking about normal everyday stress that you're hungry, you have to eat. That's a stress, actually, if you think about it. We're talking about the not so good types of stress. Let's move on to the next page. And all right, this little wheel here, it kind of breaks down the different stresses: professional, physical, psychological, emotional, spiritual, the self-care. The self-care wheel, that's what we have here. And Lisa will cover this. Each one of these areas, there are things you can do. And that's what will be discussed as we go forward. And taking care of yourself is an important part or ingredient in your job hunt. If you don't take care of yourself, if you're really worn down, you're not going to interview well. I will tell you that, because interviews are very, very important. A big factor in an interview is your personality, your enthusiasm, your smile. And if things aren't going right with you physically, it's pretty hard to be an actor or actress for that hour-long thing. It really doesn't work well. And there are techniques, again, that will be covered that can cover more. And a lot of these, it could be more that you could be in more than one of these parts of the wheel. And what do you really want to do? You want to get a balance in your life. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And so basically, I think that's about all we can really say on this. And let's move on to the dimensions of self-care, and there's a wheel, and I think Lisa can take over from here.
Yeah, so thank you, Charles. I think Charles really did go over a lot of this, which is when you look at this wheel and you think of self-care, self-care is one of the most important things to help us with stress of any kind, but particularly during the job search. And I know that a lot of times, especially, and I don't want to segment women to men, but a lot of times this subject comes up in women's groups, maybe not as much in men's groups, and it should, because all of us need self-care. And whether we're nurturing too much or working too much or not working and under the stress of the job search, all these things can happen. So I know Charles already went over the segments. We're going to start with the professional self-care. You're in the middle of this job search, or you might be frustrated, whatever, but there are activities that can help you to work consistently at that professional level that you would like to maintain while you're not working and you're looking. Keeping current in your field is really important. Professional journals, the industry news, and peer groups. Seek out, this might be hard for some of you, but if there's a mentor or someone that can give you guidance during this time, that is fabulous. Someone that may be retired, or somebody that you used to work with that you respect and you feel comfortable talking to, they can keep you up on some of the things that and go over some of the things with you that are in your field. And this also happens at the PRC with your job coach. They're also guiding and mentoring you in a different way. And you may actually find a job coach at the PRC that has some of the same experiences that you do in your profession. Take advantage of training and educational opportunities while you do have the time. There's a lot of things like you're doing now at the library, through the PRC, through city or town or county, state websites, and also maybe even in your own neighborhood or church or religious affiliation, if you have one, any kind of community, house or network that's going on in your area. Network with your peers. This is so important. And I know that when we look at some of those stressors, especially the depression one, this is difficult. When we feel depressed or down, it's harder sometimes to reach out to a peer. It's this, like Charles was saying, the social aspect is more difficult. But if you have some friends or peers that you can reach out to in your profession, or that in the kind of job that you'd like to have, that can be so important, even just for that camaraderie and that support. Participating in PRC's job assistance program, of course, kind of covers some of these things, almost all of them in some way. And it really is helpful. It's free of charge. And people here at the PRC are truly there to be a peer, to be a mentor or a guide for you. And to direct you to some educational opportunities. Okay. Okay, now physical self-care, I think that this one's a tough one for me. It's hard when you're feeling down or you're feeling busy or you're at that computer looking at the job opportunities and you're working on your resume, but there's a lot of activities that can help you stay fit and energetic, because like Charles also said, the sleep thing. Sleep is so important during a stressful time, and that's the time you lose the sleep the most. So I know you've heard this before, and I don't want to be like a baby, treating everybody like, oh, we haven't heard this, but turn off the electronic devices. I am the worst at this. I have my phone next to my bed, and I'm looking at it right before I go to bed. Sometimes I think of something, oh, I have to put that note in, or, oh, I want to Google this or whatever. And I'm looking at this light, and it's not a good way to fall asleep. And also the computer or even the TV for some people, that's a hard one. If you can make a commitment to turn it off 30 minutes before you go to bed, that's really a great idea. It really does help. Aim for a healthy diet and eat less processed food. I think this is key to so many stressful situations and energy levels and all of that. it's hard to do, especially when you're on a budget, especially when you're stressed. The first thing you might reach for is something that you know isn't really that healthy. But if you keep some things around the house that are accessible, like cut your vegetables up ahead of time and put them in a Ziploc bag. There's some really great dressings out there that are made with yogurt instead of a full fat mayonnaise. If you like to dip your veggies, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, you go down those aisles and you can find things that are healthier. But when you need to do it though, when you need to eat that, frozen pizza, it's okay, do it if that relieves your stress. But 80% of the time, do your best to eat less processed food and eat healthy. Take a walk in the park or even around your neighborhood. Now, this is crazy and I look like a nut, but to get exercise a lot of times, because I'm on the phone a lot for the coaching that I do, I put my earphones in or I walk around the house with my sneakers on. And if you were to look in my window, you can see me walking around in circles, but I'm getting steps while I'm doing it. So even when you're, maybe watching a program or a show, stand up. Some people put an alarm on their phone to tell them to, after they're sitting for a while, to stand up. It's really helpful for you physically. Park in the furthest spot when you're shopping. If there's a sport that you like, a lot of people are playing pickleball now. It's a little bit easier on the body for the older people, but I'm just turned 60 in May and I'm feeling like some aches and pains I didn't have before. Don't neglect your health and take a break. If anyone would like to share anything that they do, please just chime in,
I'm going to chime in there, Lisa. The sleep thing is a huge one. And the Downers Grove Library made a little chat suggestion that some of you might have seen: read a book.
Yes.
And I would say this: reading a book rather than looking at a phone or any computer screen with that, it's the blue light that activates your brain.
Absolutely.
It's
Reading
the
a book.
blue light. And I know I will not go to Downers Grove Library and find one book that has blue light coming out of it. If I do, I'm not going back there.
Absolutely. That was a great input, Charles. I think I feel badly because I just finished a book that I was reading and I love the book, but when I am in bed, sometimes and I read, it's not the book that puts me to sleep. It's that I'm relaxed. I'm looking at those pages and I do end up, after reading one chapter, I'm ready to sleep. So that was great. So, and we'll talk about other things that you can do. Right now, we're going to go through the slides, but there's meditations and things that we'll talk about in the end, but that helps you sleep also. So take a break, don't neglect your health, and we can go on to the next one. Psychological self-care. This might be a little bit harder because we're not always thinking in this way. There's activities that help us feel better and more clear-headed and able to engage in our job search and other things. I'll go through the list. Cultivating a hobby that relaxes you or provides a mental escape. This is something that I have found with clients of mine that I do some life coaching too. A hobby can be anything. It can be you're cooking your meal in the evening. It takes your mind off of things. A hobby can be doing a puzzle. I mean, I don't know, during COVID, we did lots of puzzles. And I know when I'm doing a puzzle, that's all I'm thinking about is looking for those spots. I'm not thinking about all the stress or all the jobs or all the work I have to do, or all the problems that, going on in life. So it could be anything from doing a puzzle to painting, art. And, the PRC also has an art classes and it's virtual right now, but it could be anything from what you assume is a hobby, like golf, tennis, artwork, music, to smaller things, like I said, like a puzzle or knitting or cooking. Keep a journal of your reflections. I can't stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. I'm going to say it a third time. I cannot stress this enough. Keeping a journal is probably one of the things that keeps us mentally healthier, able to handle stress, able to figure out our inside emotions more and understand ourselves. It's unbelievable what it can do if you start doing it. Believe me, it's not easy to keep it up. But if you take a time every day, even if it's 10 minutes, put that 10 minutes aside and make that be a certain chair you sit in with that journal. It could be any kind of notebook. It doesn't have to look like a journal. And write down your reflections, write down your ideas, write down your things you're angry or upset about. Write down the things you're grateful for, which is super huge to write a gratitude journal. And we'll go over that again a little bit later as well. But this is really a wonderful tool if you think you can start something like that. Restrict your time with emails and calls when possible. You know, the ones that are distracting or make you, feel down or depressed. Try to restrict those, when they're coming in, if that's going to be a call that you can handle at that moment or an email at that moment. Schedule downtime. That's time you can do a hobby or just relax and engage with positive friends and family members. This is going to come up on the next slide, I think, too. This is huge. Positive friends and family members. Doesn't mean you don't love the ones that aren't positive, but try your best to surround yourself. This is so important. When you are around negative energy people, it's very difficult to stay positive. You have to push yourself even more. This is emotional self-care and psychological self-care. The more positive people that are supporting you, cheering for you, they are the people that right now will be your best people to be around. And, it's so hard to say no to a person that's a loyal friend. But if they're not positive, there may be times you just have to make a statement very similar to something like this. Oh, thank you so much, but that lunch date won't work for me. You don't have to explain why. You just might not be able to be around that person right now. And that's okay. You have to take care of you. You see the picture with the happy face and the blue faces around it. Sometimes you just have to take care of you. And that could mean saying no to a friend, but then saying yes to someone else that is going to pick you up. Okay. Social interaction is critical for our well-being, and try to make that social interaction as positive for you as possible. This is a time you have to put yourself first as much as you can in this way. Okay. How you react to the stress is a choice. Sometimes it doesn't feel like a choice, but your reaction is a choice. The stress isn't there, but you can react maybe a little differently.
Lisa, a question for you. Let's say you're a person that likes to help others, doesn't like to say no, that wants to be a pleaser. I've heard that word.
That's me. I'm
People
that
pleaser.
person.
Are you a guilty one there, Lisa?
Actually, as a matter of fact,
how do you break that habit? Because those other people, they mean well, but they
Yes.
are going to schedule your life.
Yes.
And they're going to use your time. They're going to drain you. How do you say no?
You're asking the perfect question, because I actually just did a write-up about this for a class that I'm doing. Okay, so this is one of the mantras that I'm practicing. And if you guys want to practice this too, it's wonderful. Well, the first thing I do, and I've been taught to do this, and it's helping me with saying no, and also, protecting myself from things that are not something I really need to do. One of the mantras is, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? A lot of times we want to, I'm a mom of 2 adult daughters, but I still feel this feeling of control. I want to help them. I want to do this. What is mine to do right now? I ask myself. I also put my hand on my heart and I say 3 things. I ask myself 3 questions. Am I doing this to help myself professionally? Am I doing this to gain insight or something that I need? Or am I doing this for someone out of my heart because I really want to do it for that person? And you have to answer those questions. It's okay to answer them for you, because you want to do something from your heart. You want to do it because you want to do it. You don't want to feel resentful or guilty. You want to feel, I'm doing this out of love or out of my heart. The other questions are, am I going to gain something for my job search? Is this going to help me? That's okay to ask those questions. Okay, I hope that helps a little bit. spiritual self-care. Activities that help you connect with you, who you are at your core. And a couple of things I mentioned before, like the journaling. This is in there, keep a gratitude journal. This really does help you to connect with who you are at your core. Keeping a gratitude journal every day. So in that other journal, maybe with all your other stuff, my anger, my thoughts, my desires, my dreams, my goals, you can also have a section for gratitude. And if you say that you're grateful for 3 things every day, you'll be surprised how that changes your life. There's stories about this. We actually did a seminar on gratitude and how it changes people's lives. So that's one of them. Attending services in your faith tradition, if that's something that you do, that's a wonderful thing. You can do it online, or if your church or organization is having, people come physically, that's great. Random acts of kindness, volunteering, that pumps you up like you wouldn't believe. I don't know, when you volunteer at the PRC or just happen to smile at someone in the supermarket that looks down, it brings you up. So that's a great thing. It helps you. Meditating, we'll talk about that a little more, having that private moment to think and to find your space. Meditation, practicing yoga or some other type of, I just did a class, Qigong. It was really interesting. And I think I'm going to try it again. There's YouTubes on this stuff. It's only 20 minutes. It helps you feel your heart, feel your blood, pressure going down, and just feel good. But, and, we talked about volunteering. So all these things are connected. You can see the spiritual, the emotional, the psychological, they're all connected,
I have one check mark I'd like to add to that, and I wasn't aware of this for a good portion of my life. And I found when I blessed other people, I blessed myself. And so keep it in mind, when you help others, it's not just something in the Bible. It is true. You bless others, you do bless yourself. It's absolutely no question about it.
Absolutely. That's very true. We are, whatever divine presence or whatever, whether you believe in the universe, a divine, source, your God, it's in us, and we can spread that to others, and just by being positive and putting that energy out there. True. Okay. Relationship self-care. Well, I happen to be a relationship coach. That's what I do. So this is an area I'm pretty able to hopefully, give you some, at least from what I know from my experience from other people and myself, maintaining healthy, supportive relationships. And this goes back to that other part of the other slide about positive people around you. Make time for the important people in your life. Honor the commitments you make to others. Avoid the naysayers, that negative, you're never going to get that job, or you're never going to do this, your age is a problem, or this is a problem. Avoid that. Consider the people you choose to spend your time with, and are they your group? This can be hard. It can be hard if you are in a partnership with someone and there's financial difficulties when you're not working or they're not working. That is very, very difficult and stressful. Trying to maintain your connection with that person is in the most loving way can take work at this time. So that's something that, I'm aware of. If you need to reach out to other family or friends, that's important. Honoring the commitments you make, that is the same kind of thing. If you're feeling down, you might not want to do something, but try really hard to put those things on the calendar with the people you really want to maintain those relationships and commitments with. They're going to be there for you, hopefully, and you'll be there for them. And you'll be surprised that even in your job search or even in your stressful times, you may really bring something really important to them too. You're giving and receiving when you're in these relationships. Okay. This is tough. Committing to yourself. We're committing to others. You're committing to your interviews. You're committing to your lunch date, committing to your family. But do you really commit to yourself? and this is hard, this is what a lot of coaching is about. It's kind of holding somebody accountable. So when you have your job coach, they're going to help you be accountable, and they're going to help you and guide you and all that. But committing to yourself can be harder because, with these sections, you want to try to be balanced, like Charles said. So when you look at the triangles, the pies, it's like an off balance wheel right now. Look at those segments and see, where do I need to focus? Like, you might want to even say, get a piece of paper and say, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where am I with my psychological health? Okay, I feel like there I'm an 8. I feel like emotionally I'm an 8. Physically right now I'm a 5, a 4. I kind of need to really work on that one. So look at that on a scale of 1 to 10. Where do you see yourself? 10 being at your best, 1 being really needing a lot of help. And then see what area you want to work on first. Try to commit to a couple of actions that can really improve that area. And you can do this in your journal, or you can just tell a friend, or tell a job coach, or, write it down in your journal and commit to yourself and say, what can I do? What 2 things can I do today that can commit to making one of these things better? Okay. This is something we can do every day, all of us, whether we're in a job we love or we're looking for a job, Do you want to say anything about that, Charles?
Yes, actually I do. Goals are a very big thing, but I believe, and a lot of experts agree, that your goals should be written, not just say it to yourself, like, oh, my goal is to bike ride 10 miles next week. Doesn't mean much. Write it down. Right. Hold yourself accountable. If you don't write it down, journaling, I really like the suggestion on journaling, Lisa. Really I think that's wonderful, because you can look back and a journal can be something as simple as, well, I did 1 mile today on my stationary bike, or I did whatever it is. You can write it down and you can look back. You can see your progress. There is big power in the written word, and that means written goals, not just a verbal goal. Because honestly, if you tell me 3 distinct words, and you ask me those 3 words 5 minutes from now, I doubt if I'll get one of them right.
Yeah, that's, what you said 2 things that I want to bring back to the conversation. That's great. Yes, writing things down. You can even I have one of my daughters, she's really funny. She writes with like a erasable, like one of those glass writers, and she writes on her mirror. And she writes, be positive today. Or she writes, you can do it. Or she writes, put your big girl pants on, or whatever. She writes fun things on her mirror. Her goals are sometimes written on there too. Eat healthy today. The other thing I want to say, that what you said was really important too, was that, when we make those goals, we can be gentle with ourselves, but we also can ask someone else to say, ask us, how did we do on those 2 things today? Measuring the goals, keeping it and looking back at them makes you feel very positive. Oh, I did do this. And then all of a sudden you're kind of patting yourself on the back. If you didn't do it, you don't have to say anything. Okay, I'm going to do something different, or do it differently tomorrow. But there was also one other thing that I see. I'm forgetting. See, I needed to write that down, Charles, what you just said. But whatever. But I think what you said was correct.
Yeah. Just one more quick thing on goals. They have to be achievable and realistic.
Right.
If they're not, you're just setting yourself up for frustration.
That's what it was going to be. Baby steps. That what I wanted to say was, your goal has to be realistic, and take a baby step. Like, look at that staircase, in your dream, and you see your goal up there, that big goal, like, getting this fantastic job or feeling great. Well, the baby step could be just drinking water instead of soda today. The other baby step could be doing 1 job application instead of 3. Another baby step could be, meditating for 5 minutes instead of 15. Baby steps to walk up the staircase one at a time. Then you get to a landing. Picture this in your mind. Then you get to the next. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's helpful too.
All right. Well, I'm just giving Lisa a 10-second break over here. Yes, again, be realistic. And I'll give you an example of that. If you know your personality, I like being in a room of 1,000 people, and maybe I set myself a mental goal of seeing 100 people over the course of a couple hours, or introducing myself, or when we used to be able to shake 100 people's hands. I enjoy that. That's not everybody. I understand that. If you're uncomfortable around people, I will tell you a big thing in the job coaching area, we encourage people to network, talk to other people. Start with one person. Don't go to that room of 1,000 people that I went to. Start with the one person that sits next to you at church or at an organization or anywhere. Start with that one person. Show some interest in them. If you don't have a relationship with them, show a little bit of interest, and that's how relationships grow. But just be realistic with this, and you want all your wheel to be the same size. That's the goal here. You can see
Yeah.
some sides are very heavy.
Yeah.
You want it round. Imagine a tire that would look like this. It wouldn't be a smooth ride. So we're just trying to help you get a smooth. Now, there is no absolute smooth ride in life. Okay.
Yeah.
But there can be a smoother ride in life. And that's what everything Lisa has been suggesting will make it a smoother ride.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I didn't look into the chat before. A couple people had some great ideas.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to bring them up?
Yeah, going swimming for exercise. That's a great one that Claire mentioned. And Debbie mentioned doing crossword puzzles at night before bed. That's a great idea. So those are all, I'm sorry I didn't mention it before when we were talking about it. I always forget to look in that chat, but thank you so much for participating on that. So I'm going to talk about a couple grounding practices. Dedicating a period of me time allows your mind to mentally reset. So you have to be intentional about the activity that you choose and the time you set aside for it. If you're a person that uses your phone for your schedule, you can use that. If you have a calendar that you write on the wall. Sometimes when I'm in the middle of doing some bigger things in my life, whether it's looking for a job or something like that, I buy one of those. Maybe I'm getting old and this is why I do this, but I like those big desk calendars that, maybe I was an art teacher once years ago, and I'm a visual person. So like to have that looking at me every day is important. So be intentional about the activity you choose and the time you set aside for it. So don't just put on the calendar, interview or lunch with friend. Put on there 5 minutes for meditation. Put on there, do a crossword puzzle, even the little things, okay? Choose an activity that fits your life, whether it's reading a magazine, taking a walk, playing an instrument, listening to music. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I listen to music, it cheers me up. It takes me totally away. I put it on loudly and I dance a lot around. It is amazing the stress release that I feel. I'm just giving my 2 cents on that one. Exercise, write in a journal, but schedule this time and commit to it. Communicate your needs to your family. Like if you're saying, family, I'm going to go up in my bedroom for 15 minutes and do this. Please honor me, honor my time. Okay, honor is a good word. I don't use it enough. Honor me. They're honoring you and what you need at that time. I like that word for that. Okay. Next slide. All right, power exercise. I'm not going to stand up here because I'm kind of got myself in a little corner in this chair, but a power exercise is great before anything. But I'm not just going to do this one that they're doing here, but when you stand up like Wonder Woman, you feel stronger. You feel like you can face the world. There's other types of power exercises too. There's opening up your heart, looking up at the sky, like, taking things in. But this one is a good one because you feel powerful, and get up in the morning and do it. It doesn't have to be before an interview or before something special. Do it other parts of the day. And remember, say to yourself, I have the power to overcome this stress. I have the power to release this stress. Like Charles said, stress is okay. I have the power to react to it differently and feel good inside. Okay. Next. There's some calming exercises. Practicing smiling is one you've probably heard about, but it really does help. Focus your eyes, like someone who's enjoying music. Say to yourself, I'm alert and my body is calm. That's a mantra. I'm alert and my body is calm. This will shift your neurochemistry and increase your sense of joy and calm. I have another really good one. I hope this sound isn't annoying you. There is someone in my neighborhood doing the lawn. Figures it when it's on our calming exercise, but it's called bilateral breathing. And I'm going to show it to you. It doesn't look beautiful. You can do it in the car. People just think you're holding your nose. You hold one side of your nose, your nostril, and you breathe in slowly for 6 seconds. Then you hold the other side and you breathe out the 6 seconds. Then you stay on that side and breathe in again 6 seconds and breathe out 6 seconds. You can look this up. I am telling you, it's physically true. You lower your blood pressure, you become calm. Headaches can go away. My headaches have gone away. You have to do it 6 times. So it's 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out on each nostril, 6 times slowly. It really improves. It's a bilateral breathing. It really does calm you. And that's just one I wanted to teach you today. There's many that you can find. We'll go through some resources next. These are some additional self-care resources. I don't know, Paul, will they have this? They'll be able to see this, that they don't have to write this down. It's something that they can keep.
Yeah, I usually send the PDF out of the presentation
Okay,
afterwards, so people
great.
have a copy of it.
Okay, great. So these are some resources. You can go to the next slide because you'll have this. The self-care apps are great. There's one that I really like that's not on here that I didn't know about when we were doing this, this packet. So these are 3 very good ones. And there's one I really love. It's called Daytime Timer. I'll show you what it looks like too. So in case you're looking it up, it's called Insight Timer actually. Okay, so when you see the app, it's like a bowl. Well, it doesn't show up on here. It's a bowl, Insight Timer. It has music, it has positive, these are all free. It's free. It has not only meditation and all that, but it has podcasts from people that are very intuitive and interesting and talk about calmness and different meditations. It has yoga, it has crystal bowl kind of sounds that can make people, it has all different sounds. So if you have a hard time meditating or doing yoga, if you put the Insight Timer on, you could find a 10-minute or 5-minute music of kind of the stuff, that you hear, like a meditation music, or, kind of something that you would hear if you were going to get a massage or something like that. It's beautiful. So it really is relaxing. And that's another great app in addition to these 3. Okay. And then the additional resources are here. And if you want to talk more about them, Paul, it's
Sure.
up to you.
Yeah. So this is just kind of a little bit of repeat of some of the stuff that I talked about at the beginning of the presentation. So if you're interested in becoming a client for PRC, if you're not familiar with what we do, hopefully by the end you'll be really familiar and you'll understand how you can become a client. So again, we offer the food pantry emergency assistance through our social services program. If you're in need of rent or financial assistance, car repair, we have services that can help clients with all that. We do. As a quick reminder, I want to talk a little bit about, I don't know if this has our website, but if you just Google peoplesresourcecenter.com, it's peoplesrc.org is our website. And I'll put that, I have an additional slide that I can put in this when I send it out to everybody in a PDF. If you just look under services, so if you're looking for like job assistance, you could just look under services, which is the tab at the top left-hand corner, and click on job assistance. There'll be 2 different numbers that you can call. So there'll be a 630, so it's the extension 333 number. If you call that number, You leave a voice message, one of our administrative assistants will give you a call back. Usually within 24 hours, I have 2 people checking the phone lines every day. They'll get you set up with a PRC orientation, and that's the first step to becoming a client and joining the job assistance program. There's also there's another number there which you can actually call, which will just get you to one of our the main office at our Wheaton or Westmont location. But there's also going to be another link where you can click that'll give you the PRC interest form. It's just a quick Google form that takes about 2-3 minutes to fill out. You fill that out, and then once you submit it, that goes to one of our administrative assistants. So same thing as like if you're calling the 333 number, they'll get notification that that was received, and they'll give you a call back within 24 to 48 hours, talk to you about the program, the process, and then get you set up for an orientation. So it's really easy to become a PRC client. And once you're a client, you can use any of the resources that PRC offers. So you might want job assistance, but you might want some additional services. If you want the computer training program, you can access all that once you become a PRC client. So it's really easy.
I just wanted to ask a question too. I just see if after when the recording is over, if I think, I'd like to ask if anybody's interested in any questions or they want to ask anything about what they've heard or saw, and maybe they don't want to be recorded. Is that okay, Paul, if we do that?
Yeah, this is the kind of the tail end of the presentation. So if you want to stop recording, then we can open it up to any questions or any comments or anything that people want to talk about.
Okay, that would be great.